So what's up, guys?
Hey!
What's up? You know what I'm saying? Ooh, got one of my favorite pinky rings on. You see that? Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
It's just take a minute to appreciate my highlight right now, though.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I got my bun just how I like it. You know what I'm saying? Real
Bun
fancy
life.
style, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So let me introduce myself. I'm Kalechi. I go by Gunner. What's Am? What's good?
I'm Morgan, aka Mitch, aka Shouty Mo.
Shawty Mo from that 4-4.
You already know, though.
No, though. With that Cal at that 504,
Hey, you
though.
heard me?
You heard me?
You can do it.
Okay.
Oh, look at that hang time,
You know what
though.
I'm saying?
Oh.
Anyway.
We just kind of want this to be, I mean, you guys have heard so much from me, and that's because I'm home taking care of the house. Kel has made the sacrifice to work while I spearhead Mission Gunner on the back end and do some more of our creative endeavors. And so he'd be out there getting the vegan bacon for us, and it's a blessing. And so when he's gone, I have time to do these things. But now we're going to start being a little more proactive with just kind of sharing what we're learning along this journey. As far as Mission Gunner is concerned, we are just a relationship coaching, consulting company.
You know what I'm talking about?
And we want to help all kinds of people and giving them practical tools when it comes to like fostering and stewarding any kind of relationship.
That's right.
The onus is on obviously romantic relationships, but this is all kinds of relationships across the board. And so we don't claim to know it all. If you visit the FAQ tab on our website, you'll kind of get to see what our frequently asked questions are. We believe that we're qualified because God has qualified us. Of course, we've gone to therapy and we've had a couple of different coaching sessions, but we're still brand new to this. So as we're learning, we want to just impart what we're learning. And as we're given tools, we're going to give tools. And so every fee that we charge, we've prayed about that. It's not something that we're just like, oh, let's just,
Get this bread on these boys. You know what I'm saying? Just come up real quick now.
That's never been the case.
We pray and fast and we seek God because, everybody wants to make money, but we also want to do what's in God's will. And we don't want to jump out of his will just for the sake of mammon. You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh. Come on with the biblical terms out here.
Bible terms. You know what I'm saying? We are Christians.
That's Bible.
It's Bible. Okay?
So we're just going to talk about something that we were recently discussing earlier. One thing that you can rest assured of, as I've already been like in my previous Facebook videos, extremely transparent. And we are open books. We're open vessels. We live in the light. And so we're going to share parts of our testimony, parts of our parts of our story. We're going to share the things that we're going through, the hardships that we're facing. And we want to give you guys also a chance to meet some of our friends who are married, who are courting, who have been divorced, who are co-parenting, to kind of hear... hear a different, fresh perspective, biblically based, but just keeping it real.
I guess the best way we could segue into this is like giving the example on how we humble ourselves to one another in marriage. So, what did you want to talk about? You want to talk about the weight loss situation? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, basically, men are very visual people, right? And so I was a football player. I was born to be a football player.
I was born to be a basketball player.
You know what I'm saying? I did sports all through my life. You know what I mean? So my physique, it was pretty straight, to say the least.
He was fine.
And Morgan, she's a beautiful creature. You know what I'm saying? She got the hips to make anybody dip. Know what I'm talking about? She got the curves to make cars go swerve. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but when you get married, both parties put on a little bit of weight.
It's that love weight.
It's that love weight. It's that glory that weighs us on, that comes upon us.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying? And so for me, jumping in the gym was something that I always could do and was easy for me. It's not the same for my wife. First of all, she's not me, so I can't expect her to do what I can do.
Right.
So as you know, months turn into a year, and the year turned into a year and a half. You know, I made some kind of leeway. While she was making progress, it wasn't the progress that I wanted. So, you know, pride kind of filled me up and was like, I'm doing all this to look a certain way for you. And I'm taking the time out of my day to make sure I hit the gym, not out of necessity for me, but to be everything you want me to be so you don't have to look at another man.
Yeah.
And pride filled me up to not see her efforts and was like, what leeway are you doing? What are you doing to make sure that my eyes don't glance away?
Yeah.
And without even taking notice to the strides that she has done, and not taking heed to anything that may be stopping her. So one thing that we want to actually like pinpoint is that when you get married, the wife and the husband need to come into it with a knowledge of anytime there's a disagreement, anytime there's any kind of argument, or you just don't see eye to eye, any kind of contentment, that each party needs to come in owning 80% of the responsibility. And so,
Can I expound on that real quick?
80% of the responsibility.
Yeah, and I know it's jarring, and 80, and it's a lot. But the whole heart behind that is automatically coming to any kind of point of contention, any kind of disagreement, taking responsibility, even if you don't truly believe that you're at fault, even if you're the one that's been wronged. Come into it humble, lower than low. Submit yourself. The word says that the reason that Jesus is exalted higher than anyone ever will be exalted is because that he humbled himself lower than any man could humble himself. And so basically his sacrifice is commensurate to his exaltation.
Ooh, use some big words.
And I've learned in doing this and coming into it, automatically apologizing, automatically being ready and willing to listen. We're going to talk a little bit about the drive-through technique the next time we make a video, but humbling yourself, getting real low so that God doesn't have to bring you low, because when God brings you low, it's embarrassing and it hurts. So if you just bear in mind all the time, like, God has made the ultimate sacrifice for me, surely I can sacrifice my pride.
When you get married, you have to be vulnerable enough and trusting your partner enough to disclose any kind of information.
Yeah.
So if you're like, hey, husband, you gained a few pounds and it's making me feel a certain way, you shouldn't have to feel any kind of way to bring that to your husband, vice versa. Me as a husband shouldn't have to say or hide the fact that I want my wife to be better in a certain area, or that I feel this kind of way, even if I'm wrong.
Right.
Even if I'm wrong, even if I'm tripping, you know what I'm saying? I should still have enough trust that my wife loves me enough to hear what I'm gonna say and not embarrass me, not criticize me, not go upside my head, you know what I mean? And just like embrace what I'm saying and love me through it, you know what I'm saying? And we come to a common ground. So getting back to our transition to a better, healthier lifestyle. When I brought it to her attention first, I made the mistake of not humbling myself, not listening to her needs, not seeing what's really going on. And the biggest thing is not owning 60, 80, I don't know the number, but not owning the majority of the responsibility of it. Now, how would I own the majority of the responsibility of her not losing weight? Well, check this out. So if I say we need to work out, we need to lose weight, we need to start getting on track, and I'm going to the gym by myself, and I'm hitting these weights, and I'm doing all these cardios and stuff by myself, and I'm expecting her to do it, and she's not doing it, whose fault is it? Because we're supposed to be one. So her job is to help me, but I'm also supposed to love her like the church. So it's not really showing her any love to be on my own doing things. It's not really showing her any love to just tell her to catch up. Love doesn't say, come up to my standard. Love doesn't say, catch up to me. I'm surpassing you. Love says, no, I'm going to hold your hand and take my time. As slow as you want to walk, that's what pace we're both gonna walk.
Amen.
So as a result of this, I started feeling unappreciated, and then I started feeling like, what's the point? So I stopped working out. I stopped watching my what I eat, and I developed a bad eating habit. And I started gaining more weight and not really liking how I look. And then I started casting the blame on my wife. See, when you don't have humility in your marriage, you open so many snares to the enemy. Because now it's not just I don't like how she looks. I don't like how I look, and it's her fault.
Yeah.
See, that's how the enemy works.
Yeah.
And so now it's one of those things where, since I own the responsibility, okay, so what do I need to do, or what have I not been doing to help me and my wife lose weight?
That's
Not
good.
just my wife lose weight,
Right.
because it's not her fault. So if my wife tells me, if I tell my wife that I want to start saving money, and I'm not saving money, and she's not doing anything to help me save money, whose fault is it?
The enemy will get in your head and tell you what you deserve and what you don't have to put up with, and how you should be more appreciated and you should be valued and all these things, when it's like, yo, if you just get in your mind from jump,
You hear me?
your allegiance is to God chiefly.
Yeah.
My allegiance is to God first before anything else. Before I am anything else, I'm a daughter of God. And so me honoring my husband is not contingent on him honoring me.
Right.
It's not a you do and then I do type situation. It's I'm always going to raise the level of honor. I'm always going to raise the level of respect. Jimmy Evans talks about this all the time. If you have a husband who's disrespectful, then start respecting him more. Start serving him more, and vice versa. Husbands, if you have wives who don't talk to you in the way that you think that you should be talked to, don't stop treating her like a queen. Elevate.
Right.
This is what God admonishes us to do. When he talks about how to deal with our enemies, when he talks about how to deal with those who curse us, it's always doing the polar opposite. And so if he admonishes us to do that with strangers, how much more should you do that with the person that you're in covenant with?
And that's what humility looks like.
Right.
Like if you're wondering what we're talking about, and you're like, okay, that's all good, but what does humility look like? That's what it looks like.
Right.
Humility looks like putting somebody else's needs above your own. Humility looks like saying they are more important.
Right.
You know, what their interests trump my interests.
Right.
So if my wife is disrespectful, what does humility look like in that situation? Humility looks like she's disrespecting me. Okay, cool. I'm going to humble myself.
Right.
Think this through. Pray to God and continue to treat her with the utmost respect and take it to another level. You know what I'm talking about? until our relationship is great-tastic.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to always resort to your Bible, man. And people want to flip the script and twist and turn the stuff to make it fit their lifestyles, and it's very plain. Pride comes before the fall.
Amen.
And so if you have pride in your marriage, what do you think's gonna fall? People always wonder, like, I don't know how we got to signing divorce papers.
Jesus.
You know, I don't know how we started sleeping in different beds.
Yeah.
You hear me? I don't know how she just does her thing, I do my thing. She has her bank account, I have my bank account. You hear me? Like, we just live together, we're roommates. How did we get to that point? Because it's pride.
That's
Y'all,
right.
your marriage is falling because neither one of you want to humble yourself.
Right.
For one another. Everybody wants to be the alpha male, alpha dog in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't work like that. And there's no alpha dog in the house.
Hallelujah.
We're I might be the head, but she's right. She's supporting the head. So what's more important, the person that's the head, or the thing that's keeping the head up?
Come on,
because
Bible.
I won't be able to stay up where I'm at without her. So there's no superiority. I shouldn't be like, you need to do this because I'm the husband and that's such and such and such. No, that's not how marriage works. Humility, man, goes so far. Own 80% of that thing, 60% of that thing. How much you can own on your own might, and then go to God to help you get the rest.
Amen. Yeah, I believe the key to a successful marriage starts with praying the word of God together often. So before we even got married, we started the discipline of every single morning, whether we were together or not before school or all this. We've been together for a minute. You know, we decided that we would pray with one another every single morning. That hasn't stopped. If Kel is at home or if he's on his way to work, we're on the phone and we're praying the word of God, the heart of God, back to God, because his word doesn't return back to him void. And that has made us strong.
Consistency, man.
Consistency, that's all it takes. It's not just be consistent.
Be consistent in loving your wife.
Yeah.
Be consistent in honoring your husband.
Right.
You know, I'm not even gonna front. You know, there might be a day or two we can forget to call each other. Or we're just too busy. But guess what? She's still praying for me as I'm on my way to work. I'm still praying for her while I'm on my way to work. And guess what? We definitely call each other at lunch, and it's what we say. Look, I'm sorry we forgot to pray this morning. Let's pray right now. So it's like, we feel bad if we missed it.
Yeah.
But you should feel bad when you're inconsistent.
Yeah.
You should feel bad when you're not consistent on loving your wife. You should feel bad when you're not consistent in honoring your husband. Well, you should feel terrible when you're not consistent on being humble.
Yeah,
you know, because God
that's
exalts the humble.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? And so God's looking at you and he's like, I have so much stuff for you, for your marriage. I have another level to take you to, but you have to show me that you can handle it.
I believe that we have heart issues that are constantly being exposed, if the cry of our heart and the prayer of our heart is for the Lord to examine us, to search us, if there be anything in us that he doesn't agree with or that he's displeased with, that he expose those things and heal us of them. And so I think we're both going to get some healing at our retreat that we're going to. But, you know, I carry all kinds of burdens, all kinds of regret, all kinds of negative emotions, all kinds of condemnation in my body. And I think our relationship with food, our relationship with body image, our perspective of ourselves, all of those things have a bearing on how well we take care of ourselves, how well we steward our bodies. And so I'm walking through some things. And all I needed from Kel, literally all I needed from Kel was, baby, let's do this last rep. You got this. You're beautiful. You're strong. You're talented. You're a mighty woman of God. You're virtuous. You're patient. You are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I just needed him to speak life so that what he was speaking, I would begin to internalize, and that would push me forward to continue. Because I'm an athlete. I already know how to do this stuff. I know how to push myself. I know how to stay committed. But I would get burdened by these thoughts and by these memories and by all these things. And it would keep me from wanting to be better, because I would just think, well, look, I'm going to fall off the wagon again. And just, why don't I just eat these donuts and like, just forget it. Like,
and that's pride for the husband, because I'm like, I don't have to do all this. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And that's prideful thinking, you know, because it's my duty as her husband to love her like Christ did the church. And then you have to just go in the Bible and just see, like, how did Christ really love the church? Was it just saying I love you and kissing you and hugging you, and or did, like, was love like servanthood? Yeah. Was love like getting down low? Was love putting her above me? Was love doing all that I can? Was love dying for her? You know what I'm saying? Every day, like, is love like sacrificing my reps, my workout, to make sure she has a successful workout? You know what I'm saying? And so, see, I know she's looking at me. I'm talking that deep talk right now. Now I'm on a roll. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
I think that's it.
That's it. But one thing I'm gonna always say, I'll probably say it in every video: communication is a major key. It's a super major key.
Yeah.
You know, to your marriage. If you can't talk to your wife, who you gonna talk to, man? How can you talk to your partners about situations you're having with your wife and your wife knows nothing about it? You know what I'm saying?
Real.
You have to be able to communicate with your wife, and vice versa. Yeah. Wives have to be able to communicate with husbands. Because me, even though I was prideful, even though I couldn't see, the pride blinded me to see her needs, she still should have communicated it to me a lot sooner than she did.
Right.
You know? And that's where, if we don't talk to one another daily about the tough topics, the hot button topics, the stuff that, you know, we know is going to be a deep breath conversation.
Yeah.
You know, like, we won't grow.
Yeah.
And if you're not growing in your marriage, you know, you're dying. Your marriage is falling.
Yeah.
So communication, like never forget, breathe, talk, and love each other daily. Pray daily. And seek God.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh.
As always, we're open for prayer requests. Kel has a Facebook. He's going to be more diligent with checking it and being active on it. So if you're a man and you feel more comfortable kind of sharing your prayer requests or your concerns with Kel, you're more than welcome to do that. Please visit mitchandgunner.com. Everything that you need to know about what we do is there. Pricing, contracts, terms and conditions. Our gallery for our photos also can be found on the Mitch and Gunner Facebook page. Explore. And if you want to book a session with us, let us know. We would be thrilled to meet with you.
We are people. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, man. This was the first time you got to see Kel Gunner in action.
Wasn't it
Yeah, man.
lovely?